Welcome to the Hard Rap Cafe. I'm your host, Rocky Dennis. On this week's episode, co-hosted by Smoke God, I'll be interviewing the legendary producer and DJ Plex as we start in Newport News in Hampton, Virginia, and travel to Germany and discuss his military background and hip-hop influences. Also, we'll dig up his Cru Thik roots and relationships with individuals such as Mousy and Eric Jackson, Rashawn Langford, Troy Ketchmore, Kamal, and Allen Iverson, and find out what life was like before and after the production of 40 Bars. And finally, we'll talk about present-day hip-hop and pay homage to our brother and ancestor, Andre Rat Daddy Graves, and the important role he played in the Cru Thik movement as a whole. So tune in as we tap in with Plex. All right, man, here we go. Welcome to the platform. Welcome to Hard Rap Cafe. My man Plex, a.k.a. Hatchet. How you doing, brother?
Good, I'm good. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man.
Hatchet B,
And we
my
also
DJ.
Jamal Star Chizzy, what's up, baby?
What's up, man?
Good to see y'all, man.
Yeah,
Good to see you,
you too,
man.
man. So yeah, Plex, man, it's been a long time coming. I know we've been trying to line this up. I appreciate you, man, for being able to tap in with us.
No doubt.
And this is just another part of the story, man, just to get people a little familiar with you, man. Let's start from the beginning, man. As far as your birthplace, man, where were you born, Plex?
I was born in Newport News, raised in Hampton. I kind of moved back and forth all my life, but I'm mostly from Hampton. And
So
I'm an Army brat too, so I lived a couple of other places.
that's what I was about to get into. I heard or kind of was familiar with a little bit of your overseas travels. Where did you grow up overseas?
I was overseas for a year in Germany, outside a city called Frankfurt, real big city. And I was in a town called Oberrussel. That it's a base there, but it's closed now, I think. So
Okay.
Yeah. People don't know
I
your
was
daddy is Major Blood.
Major Blood, Sergeant Slaughter, all of that.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
yeah.
he an older dude now. He easy, he real easy. You'll never know he was the same damn person, man.
Well, he was
So
no joke back in the day.
yeah, he would come through sometimes, man. But
Yeah,
So
I
but
was in Alabama for a year, and I was in Missouri for a year as well. We always would go and stay a year, and then come back here and come back to VA.
I wanted to ask you that too, because we kind of jokingly gave your pops them names, you know what I'm saying? But I
Yeah,
grew up with a step pops too. My step pops was in the Navy, you know what I'm saying? That's how we got out to Virginia, and he was kind of similar, it wasn't no joke.
yeah,
But just from, you know, all the guys that you were friends with, I know you had a lot of friends too that were
mm,
squares, but far as like the people we know, you
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like the street niggas, do you see
Mm,
the difference in you having that foundation, family structure, both parents,
for
a
sure,
father that was disciplined in the home and how he raised you and your
for sure,
brother, you know what I'm
for sure.
saying, versus
Yeah,
your
yeah,
friend?
yeah. I had a lot of friends from single parent homes, and came up a bit rougher than I did. And yeah, I seen the difference. I seen places where they came from. Um, Originally, I was in Aberdeen, it's all black neighborhood, middle class. Uh, Shit going on around there. Couple of crackheads, whatever, you know what I'm saying. But nothing like uh Wood Song or Walker Village, no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just regular black neighborhood shit. So
so
it's not the same. But
so being overseas, did you go to school over there or was your schooling
I
in the
went to
States?
school. I went to school over there like a year because I was in sixth grade, '84 when I went to Germany. I was in like fourth grade in Alabama, eighth grade in Missouri, like a year apart. But I went to school over there, and shit would be different. Shit would be real different over there. In those areas, none of them areas is better than living in VA. VA ain't, New York or DC or no shit like that. But, Germany was nice, but at that time, there ain't no internet. That shit was like living on another planet. And
Right.
you know, me and my friends might take a day to try to find a damn record store that we heard was in Frankfurt some damn where. So we looking for records so we can buy records, but the damn city's so big, we would never find a damn record store. But
That's
we'd
crazy.
spend a day looking for that shit. So
So you was into the music at that time, nigga, in the
man, I've
sixth
been in the
grade?
music. Man, I've been in the music forever, forever.
Damn.
What got you into music before even
Man,
hip hop?
my
What type
my
of
soul, nigga, my soul.
your so okay, okay.
Because my parents would go to car parties and shit, and you know, while they playing cards, man, I'm going through them people records as a kid. I'm not digging like for samples, but I'm like, I want to see what they got. And now I'm playing the records. While my pops and my mother would be like, yo, just let him. He's not gonna mess up your records. He just want to see what y'all got and play some. And I would just play records. That's all. That's what I would do when I go to people's houses and shit. I always love music. So
So
I was the same, and as you know, when we first
y'all had a
met
lot of
and you
records.
came to
Yeah,
my house, I had a
yeah.
whole wall. My mama
The
had a
whole
whole wall
wall.
full of
Yeah,
records.
he had a whole wall for that. That was they had a lot of records. Way more than I grew up with.
so did you mess the fucking records up with scratching and shit, nigga?
Never, nigga.
Who, me? Oh,
No, I'm talking about Flex.
Nah.
When he
oh.
said his mom used to say let him use the records, he ain't gonna mess them up. So you didn't mess them
Well,
up.
so you know, when I said like I was going to the car parties, that was before I knew anything about scratching. I was
Right.
just playing records. I wasn't trying to scratch. When I was learning how to scratch, um, it was this cat from my hood named Bunny. Bunny taught. Man, everybody in my neighborhood would do shit together, man. I didn't play. I played basketball for a little while, but you know, everybody would lift weights and well, I just remember times when we did shit like that together, but everybody was trying to learn how to DJ too. Everybody, you know, did a little bit of rapping. You know, none of us might not have been no good, but everybody learned the basics of DJing from Bunny. Um, After I seen Bunny scratch, I moved to Germany. I'm trying to scratch what he taught me or what I seen, and I had this old ass record player I got from my grandmother. That shit didn't work. I couldn't get the basics of scratching down. And then when I came back, seen Bunny again, still watching him. And I picked up on what he was doing. Now I'm in Missouri. Now I ain't got nothing but my brother Fisher Price record player. But that's what I learned how to scratch on. A fucking Fisher Price record player. And
Damn, that's
yeah,
crazy.
but that shit didn't skip. And I put like some paper underneath it, like a slick mat from a old record or whatever. And it had a side volume knob on it. And I just learned how to scratch, you know, with that. And when I came back, I was all right.
So
And
did you get into hip hop far as like most of us, like Sugar Hill? What was the spark to say, okay, I'm into this culture. Like I'm about to be a part of this hip hop culture.
I didn't know I was gonna be a part of it, but yeah, when I heard Sugar Hill Gang, I was on it. And all that shit is a blur because I'm a kid, but you know, shit like Sugar Hill Gang, you know, they played all over the radio. My mother bought me the record. If you remember Numbers by Kraftwerk, that shit used
Yes.
to play on the radio. We didn't really take that as it's just a fucking song on the radio, but that's different from any of SOS band or Prince that they playing. This shit different. And niggas hadn't even seen breakdancing enough, and yet here they might have been doing that shit in New York, but like 81, 82, nobody think about breakdancing and shit. But Numbers was different. Numbers was that shit that's in the future, whatever. Then while I'm in Alabama, Planet Rock come out, and I'm still only hearing the instrumental, so that shit might as well be Numbers. But when I
Right.
come back to VA, they playing the shit with words. I'm hearing the rapping, and I'm like, you know, this is a whole nother fucking world. You know what I'm saying? So that shit, and I don't know, go not hip hop, but it was something about that shit too. You know what I'm saying? Or something about Trouble Funk or Chuck Brown. And they was sampling that shit. And they ended up sampling it. They wasn't sampling it yet, but we was hearing all that shit because that's what we play at our cookouts. So
So you said you had a lot of your homies was rapping and shit, you know, in the neighborhood.
mhm.
Did you have an MC name? What you call yourself?
I had no fucking MC name. Nah, because everybody, you know, I ain't gonna say everybody was trying to rap, you know what I'm saying, or nothing like that. Now I can remember the first dude that was my rapper. I didn't have no MC name. I might write a rhyme and throw that bitch away because I know I ain't no real rapper.
Uh-huh.
But you know, I knew that I was gonna end up DJing and making music. So, but
Okay, who was your first? I didn't know this. Who was your first rapper that you?
my first rapper, I got to. So my man, Jay, his name was Jay, last name Jackson. I hope I'm getting his name right. He was from Granger Court though. But me and him, you know, he went to high school with me from the next neighborhood over. So we never did nothing but, you know, we were supposed to be making a crew. I'm the rapper, I'm the DJ, he the rapper. And then another cat named Elliot Best.
Now hold up, sorry to cut you off, but can you
Mhm.
chronicleize that? Like, what year was this? What
This
years was
is
this?
like ninth and tenth grade. Probably probably ninth and tenth grade. And I
Which
And
just
was
what
like
like 88,
eight
87,
yeah.
88.
I'm I'm pretty sure I just started DJing parties. So me and Jay never did nothing. We just supposed to do something. Uh, Me and Elliot never did nothing, but I had my equipment set up at his house. I bought my first turntable, set it up at his house because I didn't. My house in Aberdeen, my room was so fucking small. I had when I bought the turntable, there was a black trunk sitting across from my bed, and I had to sit the turntable on that black trunk. But there's no room for me to put anything else in my room besides the damn, you know, I could have put another turntable or another mixer up there, but there was really no room for nothing else. And I'm sitting beside my bed with my knees up against the damn trunk because that's how small my room was. So I started buying shit and taking it to Elliot's house and keeping it in his garage. And when I started DJing, him and a cat named Rob, they stayed close to each other. When I started DJing parties, I was using Rob's speakers. I never bought no party speakers. I just bought the turntables and the mixer and started buying records, but I was using Rob Whitehead speakers. He stayed like 2 blocks from Elliot. So
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy you say that because I remember
you
Elliot. I remember you telling me about Elliot and
remember?
go.
Yeah, I probably told you about him. Yeah.
I remember you telling me about him, and I remember you. You know what I'm saying? Saying you had equipment over there.
And that's where I did my first pause tapes at. When I was doing pause tapes, I was doing the Elliot house. So and I remember I used to pause tape uh this song called Maiden Voyage by Ramsey Lewis. Still ain't a hold of who leaders of the new school end up sampling that shit. But and a couple other records here and there. So but
So
yeah,
what DJs were popular at this time? You know what I'm saying? I heard you say the pause tapes. Who was rocking them? Who was you messing with
local
on that?
DJs or who was I listening to?
Yeah, who was you listening to?
Uh Man, listen, everything because I I think I'm pretty sure I don't know when the Rap Attack went off the air. All I know is like Rap City on BET and the Rap Attack. Come on, I don't know if he was here. I don't think he was here there. Danger, you remember the damn Rap Attack?
Damn right.
Okay, but come on, you wasn't living here at that time. I don't think. But
Was it 88? I came in 88.
it probably went off the air 88, maybe 87, because it went from WRP.
Yeah,
It went from
WIP.
it was 850, then it went to 1350. And it was at 1350 for maybe a year or two before it went off. And I mean, anything that they was playing, uh, shit, man, you know, that's where you heard Eric B and Rakim, uh, Cru Thik Rapp, um, uh, man, there's so many I can't even remember. I mean, you know, everything played on there. And then 103 had DJ Ebony on Fridays, like from 11 to 12, and he played a lot of shit. So
Well, I think it was here when I came in 88
it
because
could have been the Rap Attack with
because
H.J. Ellison came on at 4 o'clock every day after school.
I remember the AM channel and remember me and my cousin Kelsey, which we gonna get into him. I want to ask you a question about him, but we
Hmm.
used to mess.
Shout out to
It was
Kelsey.
a DJ. He was old school by the name of the
Hmm.
Soul Ranger.
Same radio
And
station.
yeah, Soul Ranger.
But he ain't got.
He had a daughter. We
Mhm.
used to mess with his daughters and their cousin. They lived
Right.
out Cavalier Manor, right on Eisenhower, the first house right there on Eisenhower and Cavalier Manor.
Enforcement.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, in Portsmouth, and they
Yeah.
went to Wilson High School. So
Hmm.
I knew about the Soul Ranger. You know what I'm saying, because we was messing with his daughters and they girl cousins. You know what I'm
Right.
saying.
Right.
And he used to
Right.
be. That's how I remember that. You know what I'm saying. He
Mhm.
used to be on that station, AM.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
Well, he.
fam.
Well, he. Go ahead. Go ahead, Danger.
I was just about to say my family from Cavalier Manor, so I
Mhm.
definitely identify. But what was you about to say, Plex?
It was H.J. Ellison that was DJing the Rap Attack. He wasn't doing no rapping or scratching or nothing. He was just playing the songs. They didn't do no. I don't remember them doing no damn mixing on WRIP, mixing and scratching. They did that shit on 103 at K94 on the weekends. Um, I
So
remember the Soul Ranger, but he didn't have nothing to do with the Rap Attack. He was like, I think he was like the program director at WRIP too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so you
So,
not being a what you said this, a street guy as far as running around crazy or whatever. How did you
mm.
run across Mousy Jackson?
Everybody knew Mousy. Everybody fucking knew Mousy, man. Everybody knew Mousy, man. He was every damn where. So it's like it was hard to avoid. I remember we used to go to the mall. Well, I didn't go with him. I would be in the mall. I see him. I'm going the other way because if I walk with him, we gonna get stopped every 10 seconds by somebody who know Mousy. Can't
Right.
get nowhere. Can't get. I can't go buy some shoes because I'm with this nigga and he keep getting stopped.
How you
Or he
meet
got
him?
to. I don't. His mother lived in the next neighborhood over from my parents. Ended up moving to Bryfield, and he didn't. His mother didn't stay too far from there. And matter of fact, he stayed right on the same. He stayed right in that same neighborhood. When I told you Rob Whitehead, the dude I used to borrow speakers from, he stayed in that same neighborhood where his mother did. He stayed there, but I was in that area. You was going to run across him either way. So I don't even know the first time I met him or whatever. But we was kids, like
Hold up. So
14, 15.
are you saying that before you actually met him, meaning made contact with him and spoke to him, you already
Yeah,
knew of him and knew who he was, like when you seen him and heard about him?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Everybody knew who he
Okay.
was. That
Okay.
he was he was just the type of dude that would be everywhere. He would be everywhere.
And
So
it's crazy you say that because when I did my first interview on the Hard Rap Cafe with Rocky with Danger,
yeah,
that's one of the first
mhm,
thing I said was Mouse was really like one of the first ghetto superstars that I knew. Because he knew
yeah,
everybody in the streets,
yeah,
but everybody knew him everywhere.
yeah,
And what was surprising to me and my cousin, because we came from the South Side, we was on the South Side, but when we came to
mhm.
the South Side, he still knew a lot of people. You know what I'm saying?
And
Which
that,
back in the
and that,
late '80s, that was rare because people kind of stayed in their own cities. You didn't see a lot of
yeah,
Newport
yeah,
News or
yeah,
Hampton
yeah.
niggas just kicking it on the South Side
No,
or knowing
no,
knowing
no,
people on the
no,
South
no.
Side. But when we
Uh,
went to the peninsula, he knew everybody.
you knew everybody, and like you said, like I didn't know nobody on the South Side. You were the first cat I met from the South Side. I went to Granby Street to buy sneakers. That's it. I'm back on this side. I didn't know nobody over there. So
So where did the music conversation with you and Mouse, when did that happen, and how did that come about?
I know he used to fuck with this cat named Eli out of Glen Gardens, and he wanted me to get down with them and make some beats for whoever was rapping over there. And I don't even remember who was rapping. I can't even remember. But he would come to my house. He came to my house and was like, used to get me to work on music. Cause I mean I might be chilling or I might be trying to see a girl or something. This nigga knocking on my door like, yo, Plex, you got work to do. You need to work on some beats. And it might be the first thing from my mind. Or I feel like DJing to say, nah, man, you need to fuck with this sampler, man. Here, let's go get some records. I used to go get records from this record store. I'd buy like five. He's stealing like two or three. putting them in his jacket or whatever. So Mouse been around forever in the mix.
Now, what was the first? This is what I want to know because
Mhm.
I don't know if it was the first. It was the first that I knew of, but what was the first beat machine that you ever worked with? How did you start
Well,
making beats?
it,
And
it wasn't a beat machine. First they had these little Casio samplers at Circuit City. I think it's called the SK1. Fucking with that, and then dude I went to high school with, Quincy from Tide Mill. He had one I would ball that and ball 4 track. So I made a couple of beats like that. You know what I'm saying, on with the Casio joint, and then my first beat machine was the EPS 16 plus. But also Quincy had a Alesis drum machine too, and I fuck with that a little bit, but I ain't like the way it sound. And damn, I'm forgetting a lot of shit. So I went to high school with a cat named Never from New York.
I
Never had
remember
a
him.
yeah, never had like a Roland. It was like a 606 or some shit like that. It was a drum machine and it had a decent sound to it. So I fuck with that a little. He let me borrow it. I fuck with that for a little while, but I didn't do that much with it because I knew I wanted to fuck with it. We were sampling by then, and I hadn't figured out how to work that shit into looping and stuff like that yet. So I don't know. I gave it back to him. We were still in high school when that shit happened. So
Now, do you remember when you met me?
I know I met you through Mouse. And I
Yes.
know, I think Mouse brought you to my house, or did we come see you?
Now, first he brought me to your house to meet you,
Oh, right, right.
and then we met, me, my
Hmm.
mouse, and obviously my cousin Kelsey
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Brooklyn.
for sure,
You know what
for
I'm saying?
sure.
Who was my first DJ since like 1984. You feel me?
Hmm. Yeah,
And
yeah. Kelsey's a cool cat.
then remember y'all was supposed to have a battle because that was my DJ Def. I've been knowing him as my DJ since 1984, DJ Def. And remember, y'all was supposed to have a battle, a DJ off, right? You remember that?
Uh-huh. I don't remember that, but go ahead. I got a funny story, but go ahead, because I did that with a
But
lot of people, man. But go ahead.
remember it's crazy because you said how Mouse used to live right not too far, Mouse's mom. Remember, we used
Yeah,
to walk from your house to Mouse's house. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
And you and Kelsey, my cousin, was supposed to have a DJ battle, remember,
Hmm.
in Mount's basement on top of the washer and dryer. And you had the turntables up there and you start cutting and scratching. Matter of fact, you had the originator, Big
Uh,
Jazz, aka
uh,
Jazz O originator record. I remember it like it was night and day. You start getting up there cutting and scratching, and
uh,
fucking Kelsey would not get on. You punked the shit out of my cousin. He would not touch. He stopped DJing, and he was just strictly the streets. Him and Mousy,
uh,
you know what I'm saying? Because I was at the time, I was already on my journey, far as on doing the knowledge and reading the scrolls and shit. And I was backing off from the streets. And after that point, but in focusing on the music. But then after you punk Kelsey on top of
mhm.
the washer and dryer, you know what I'm saying? He ain't mentioned music from that point on. He was strictly about the streets. You don't remember
Man,
that
look,
on top of the washer and dryer
well, I'm gonna tell you something.
with that
That
jazz.
happened.
Oh, you had the
That that
originator. You was
that happened a lot. That's why I don't remember it. I did that to a lot of people because it usually will be somebody from not from here or somebody that don't know me and don't realize how nice I am. It's three things to that, or three people that defies that shit. So I can't sit here and act like I'm so nice without telling these stories. I got to tell the first one, Jay Swift. Danger, y'all know Jay Swift.
Yeah, damn right.
yes, of
So
course.
Jay Swift refused to call me Plex. He called me by my government.
Right.
He just what I'm saying, you talking about Randy? He says it in the group chat. His voice trying to be funny and shit. But
Right.
when I met him, it was the same thing. I'm talking shit. Matter of fact, I just said, yo, you want to battle because every cat had came across, I was better than. And Jay came to my house. Tank brought him to my house, and He got on my set and did some crazy DJ scratch shit. And I was like, never mind. Never mind. Fuck.
Oh,
I'm
so
telling you that
hold on,
story.
hold on.
I'm telling you that story now because if you interview that nigga, he's gonna want to tell the story. I told it first. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on, hold
So
on.
yeah,
So
he backed
are
me
you hold
down.
on?
He backed me down.
So you telling me that Jay Swift, my brother, I love, punked you like how you punked my cousin Kelsey,
Yes. Yeah. Well, I didn't stop DJing.
but you ain't
I
stopped
still,
DJing.
I still was nice. I still was nice. I just want better than that nigga. That nigga was nice. Nice,
Yeah.
Yeah, because
nice.
you got up on the turntable, you start doing all the tricks and cutting them. Kelsey,
Yeah.
he ain't even touch. He
No,
refused to touch
no,
them goddamn
no.
turntables, and he
No,
stopped fucking with the music. And that's
I
when
got
you
up.
became my DJ. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
yeah, for
saying?
sure,
And
for sure.
then that's when you came to out Virginia Beach, you and Mouse to the
Mm,
south side, to my
yeah,
mom's house, and you see the whole wall full of records. Y'all start raping the records. You know what I'm saying? Do you remember the
had to do it.
sign? I don't know if you ever remember, like we used to have two big ass reel to reels and the speakers.
I
We had
remember
a
all that.
Technique
I remember all that.
turntable. Do you
Yeah.
remember the sign that my step pops had on the top of the?
No,
It
no, I don't.
said this was some cool California shit, you know what I'm saying, from the early 80s. It used to say, eat my food, drink my
Mm,
beer, but don't fuck with my
but
stereo.
I can't remember that shit. I can't remember that shit. I
And
can't remember
then
that.
first y'all just came and just raped some of the records. But
Hmm.
then it was like at the end of the 80s, and my mom was like, fuck it, you could just have them. You know what I'm saying?
There was a lot of
And
records too,
and
bro.
and because she had records from my auntie and my uncles. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like if you, I don't know if you remember, some of them had like Bird on them, which was my
Yeah,
auntie Bird, and Terrence, my uncle. So she
yeah,
might have had like doubles and triples of certain records, which I knew
no
you
doubt.
loved because you was able to swap out
Yeah,
with people
yeah.
like Jay Swift and
Hmm.
Latif up in Brooklyn.
Man, Jay would never. Jay had so many gems. Man, he never wanted to get a record from me. I always would get records from him because he come from New York where they really, really, really are able to dig, and they know if you dig, you know what records to look for. Me being from Virginia, I'm just looking. I'm just looking for what the fuck ever I can find. I don't know who's not. I don't know. I can't tell by this record or by this name that it's gonna be some shit up here. Until I started, I kept digging and finding. Okay, I know this dude got some shit because I got his other album. But when you from New York, like you would, Pete Rock and Large Professor and all them people, they have a knowledge of shit like that reminisce sample, whatever from Tom Scott. They all knew about that shit. They all know about that's not how I was. I'm by myself doing this shit for real. There's nobody around me at first trying to make beats. Jay Swift might have been the first. I mean, it's a couple of cats that I ran into, but they didn't know. They didn't even know what I knew. You know what I'm saying? So Jay Swift taught me. He
Jay
didn't
Sif
teach me
was
how to
cut from
dig.
that cloth.
He's cut from that cloth, and he had all these fucking records. And I used to borrow records from him, but he never wanted to borrow records from me. All that shit I had, he had already, or knew that there wasn't nothing up there.
Now you said
So
it was three. It was two other situations.
yeah. So the other situation, my man Diallo, who I used to DJ with in high school. So everybody used to pit me and him against each other, and we were supposed to have a battle at Union Hall. We had a party. I'm set up on one side. He set up on the other side. The shit that wasn't, we just got two different styles. I go off of sound. So yeah, I'm gonna be hitting the doubles and doing the tricks and all that shit, but I want to make sure the rhythm is kept. I don't want nobody to stop dancing because I decided to go crazy on the turntable. I want you to be able to keep doing what you're doing. Diallo is fucking, under his leg, behind his damn back, all this other crazy shit, you know what I'm saying? And it might go off, you know what I'm saying? But it don't matter because you looking at it and you seeing what you seeing and like, yo, this nigga's incredible. But we kind of complimented each other in that way. So we didn't have no battle. We just end up being partners. After that, we DJed all our parties together. And we're just bringing, he had speakers. So I end up stopping using my man Rob's speakers and we're just using Diallo speakers. And we combined all our records and we just doing parties at Midtown, Union Hall or wherever else we could, house parties and shit, wherever. So But yeah, the third situation, maybe it was just two. Oh, it's a DJ named DJ Music Rocker, and I didn't challenge this nigga nothing. He went to HU. He from Fort Greene. Um, that
Fort
cat
Greene,
was nice.
Brooklyn.
Fort Greene. He was down here going to A. Look, this nigga was down here going to HU, living in Walker. What's the shit across from across the street from Wood Song where Rod got shot?
Brookridge.
Brook, he was living in Brookridge, going to HU. So you know how New York people walk. He would
Yeah.
walk from HU to Brookridge like it was nothing. Got all this. They don't even know who he. They don't even know. Man, Cats probably would have tried to do something if they known what was in his crib, but he didn't. I mean, he was out there chilling, and he had all this equipment. He was nice as shit. He was nice, and I didn't. That was just if I would have, if I would have took that route with him, be like, yo, nigga, let's battle or whatever. Yeah, I would probably would have lost that shit too. You know what I'm saying? But he was cut from a J Swift cloth. He was nice like that on some DJ Scratch shit. He was that nice. So
So
but he wasn't. He never was into digging. He was just in the straight DJing. So
during the era of, you meeting Mouse
mhm.
and Kamal, so these are the beginnings of Cru Thik, this
Yeah,
era. And what year is this?
what 91? Like
Nah, this
91?
is 89.
I mean, it could be. I ain't got the best memory, but I know
Yeah,
it's early.
it's 89. It was 89. It was
So
89.
yeah, so Mousy, running across Mousy, who everybody knows at this
Mhm.
time, and you get with him, and you ended up coming across my brother Kamal, and this Cru Thik movement. So you originally began being a DJ for Kamal, and eventually he would come across his partner Remedy, and they grouped the Next Man.
Well, I probably brought Remedy in because I went to high school with him.
Okay, what high school did you go to?
We went to Bethel,
Oh, you went to
and
Bethel.
yeah, so I know that, and Kamal, even though I'm saying I brought him in, Kamal probably remember the shit better than I do because he just got a big ass brain like that.
Right.
But I know it was another cat named Zach, and he was getting me to do beats for him. We was going to Timmy Bill's studio over on King Street, and then when he graduated in '90, he was going to Howard, and we
Yeah,
started recording up there. So you're right. It was like 88, 89, because this shit, he graduated in '90 and went to Howard. So it had to be
yeah,
before that, like you said. Told you that nigga got a
yeah.
big ass brain. But Remedy was going with us up there. Did you go up there too? Come on.
Yeah, this
To
is
Howard?
because Zach, that's what I told this story before. Remember, because Ian Rod used to hate Zach. They never liked Zach. They thought he was corny or a square. You know what I'm saying?
Zach was a different
Until,
type of dude.
you know what I'm saying, but he was going to Howard, and
Yeah.
Remedy was going to. He started going to University of Maryland.
I remember
Remember?
that.
So
Yeah.
we was actually, so Remedy wasn't coming up there with us because he was already
Mm-hmm.
up there. So we
Mm-hmm.
would go up there and make trips to DC and Maryland. Or
Right.
Remedy would come down from Maryland to DC.
Right.
And that's how and Roz and Zach is the one that put us on to the legendary, the only ever Cru Thik manager,
Ross Mickens.
Roz Mickens, Rozzy Roz. Because
Right.
he
Right.
was actually managing Zach first. A lot of
Yeah.
people don't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
so
then Remedy and Zach became a group. Remember, first they was gonna be called the Grassroots,
Yeah.
but then Roz was like, "There's a group called the Roots that came out." So then they switched it up. I forget what they changed it to.
I can't remember what they changed it to either. But we did like one or two songs. And you remember when we went down to Florida and Ross you know, she said some shit and she got Zach out of his game. Zach decided to stop rapping.
Yeah.
So, and that's how Remedy got down with us. Remedy was like, well, shit, I'm still trying to rap, man. Fuck that. And
Yeah.
you know, that's when me, Kamal, and Remedy formed the Next Man.
So how
Yeah.
long was the Next Man making music together before Mad Rugged came into play, or the
Nah,
other?
Matt Rugged was first. You already knew all these niggas. All you niggas already knew each other. Went to school
Mm-hmm.
from around the way, whatever, but y'all was not making music together. That's why I
Yeah.
say I was the spark, and what me and you started was the foundation
Mm-hmm.
of everything that came from Cru Thik, because y'all knew each other already.
Yeah.
And Mouse, he used to, when me and Mouse and Kelsey be running the streets and we going here and there, we at Davis. Now I'm like 16. He is like 14. He used to hang out with this little dark-skinned cat. I forget his name. But when he used to want to come with us, Mouse was like, no, you can't come. You know what I'm saying? We'll break out and we'll be all over, we're doing whatever we doing. But one day we in your basement and you call E. I don't know who called each other, but you was on the phone with E, and E kicked that rap about the
Mm-hmm.
papes. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you was like, and me and Mouse was astonished because we didn't know he rapped, but you knew he rapped already. You was like,
Because
yeah, I know already.
I have been fucking with E and this nigga named Dre. And
Y- Y'all was already recording?
no, I won't recording, but I knew E from being in school. We from the
Right.
same hood, you know what I'm saying? Even though I wasn't living out there no more, I knew E, just like I knew Chuck. You know what I'm saying? I know him, I'm older than them, but we from the same area. So I'm not
Right.
hanging with them every day. But me and Dre the same age, Dre Thurman. And he a couple of years younger. I don't know what their connection was. But I would see E sometime, and I knew him and Mouse was cousins. And you know, he kicked me around. That shit was crazy. Like, yo, nigga, you ain't never rap for your cousin? He was like, nah, I ain't gonna rap for him. I said, man, go ahead. Man, that nigga, he need to hear this. So finally I got in the rap for him and shit, man. He blew Mouse mind because
Yeah,
he was nasty.
Yeah,
Mouse
we
told
was.
me.
Yeah, we was astonished. We was astonished.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is
So
before it was the E and Ra, before
what that
Mad Rugged.
Yeah,
what did that
Rod wasn't around yet.
right. So the Next Man, you said, was formed after Mad Rugged was formed?
Mad Rugged was formed in 90,
Right.
91. Because that's when
Oh,
you
no,
had
no.
aggravated thoughts. That's when you had aggravated thoughts. And then in 92, they came with My Style's Aggressive.
Yeah,
You know,
so because I
My Style's
remember
Aggressive.
I remember Plex being the heartbeat of both of those groups musically, the Next Man and Mad Rugged, you know what I mean, at this time. So were there any other MCs that you were dealing with during this time period, or was it, you know, E and Kamal, basically the Mad Rugged Next Man
And
groups?
it was Catch.
Uncatch. Okay. So
Yeah.
that's great. Now how did that come about? You know what I mean? The Troy situation.
Mouse.
Mouse.
Mouse again brought him to my house. You know what I'm saying? And man, you can smell the street on Troy. Okay. When he brought him to my house, he opened the door. I was like, yo, this cat. I said, yeah, where you get this dude from? You know what I'm saying? Mouse like, don't even ask, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
but Troy was nasty, man. He was nasty. His style was so rough. He just had a rough ass style, you know what I'm saying? And he was about it, you know what I'm saying? He was he a real one. He's still a real one.
Damn right, man. That's legendary, man. God damn, Next Man, Mad Rugged, and
Mm-hmm.
Catch,
Sure.
man. You know what I
Hey,
mean? That's incredible.
let me ask you this, Plex, focusing on the production. Like, because you formulated a style, because I remember I didn't know if you said earlier that the EPS 16 Plus was your first beat machine.
Yeah, yeah.
So That's it. I thought it was one thing you had before. I remember because you got that after me. I remember that. But you had something else right before you got the 16 plus. When I first met you, you had something before. Because I remember when you got this EPS 16 plus, you had something right before that.
Man, if
But
I
it
had
wasn't
something
like a
before it,
real. It wasn't like a keyboard or something. It was something else you was working with when I met you.
that could have been, but I don't think it was. If I had something, I borrowed it from somebody.
Okay, you
Because that was,
probably might have borrowed it, but I knew
yeah.
that was like your prized possession, like the EP. That was the ultimate, and
But
that was the, and that became the foundation of the sound that you created for all of us. The whole Cru Thik, Novas, Mad Rugged, Next Man, Third. Our sound was the
now, let me say
insonic. That
something. Let me say something. You're saying that I had another drum machine, and that's not really a drum machine. That's like a sampling workstation. That ain't
yeah,
like no MPC 2000 or 60 or whatever. It's not the same. But I say drum machine just because that's what I was working on. But at the same time, you got to remember we have been going to the studio without no damn drum machine. I'm just
yeah,
taking records. And we
yeah,
going and I'm making the shit there. I'm telling the dude, man, loop this, sample this, do this, do this.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and you know what I'm saying? And that's how we're making songs at first. I didn't have no
yeah.
drum machine.
You right.
And
I'm saying drum machine, but I'm saying equipment because I didn't know what the
yeah,
fuck it was. What the fuck you was doing? You was
yeah,
working with? I like you said. Now you using the correct word. The EPS 16 plus was a workstation because I remember it
yeah.
saying that on the keyboard workstation. That was like
Mm-hmm,
the ultimate. You know what I'm saying? But that
mm-hmm.
became like the foundation of your sound and our sound. The Insonic.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know about the SP 1200 or the or MPC nothing because, like I said, before I got that, I'm learning about everything indirectly. I don't know what to get until somebody tells me. The reason why I knew about the EPS 16 plus, some cat that went to HU, the Zach knew, he wanted to, he wanted me to make him some beats. So he said, listen, I know a cat that's got a drum machine. It was the EPS 16 plus, but it was a rack mount. HU cat. I go over there with the records and he's showing me how to use it. And so I said, man, I got to get that. Only because that was the first thing I was exposed to. That's what I got. AL and them didn't have no damn MPC 60s or MPC. Didn't have MPC nothing. They didn't have no SP 1200s. Didn't have none. The one on J Clyde didn't have none of that shit. Uh, and that's where I bought my EPS from. Now in Norfolk they might have had it, but I didn't see no reason to go over there when I got the shit over here. And I like this drum machine. This dude at HU had it, so that's what I'm gonna get. And
So it was
I,
just out of by chance, by luck. You
This is
just
by
fell
chance.
into
Man,
Insonic.
sometimes I wish I had ran into an NPC first. But some of them cats, man, they act like they had two different pieces of equipment making beats. And that would have been hard for me to get. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, somebody had to tell me about Technique 1200s. Uh
Now, with having these groups, Mad Rugged, the Next Man, and and Troy,
yeah.
Catchmore, when it came to making production for these guys, did you have a go-to as far as because if you know about us or know these things, they're different sounds. You know what I mean? The Next Man don't sound nothing like Mad Rugged. Mad Rugged don't sound nothing like Catch. You know what I'm saying? So doing this production, did you have specific records as far as sampling or how did you come up with these sounds for these guys to get them, their unique sound that they had, man, when it came to the production?
The records really didn't matter because it was all in the how how it manifested on the board. You know what I'm saying? Once I got a hold of it. Uh I just knew that, of course, Mad Record, the beats was going to be a little bit rougher. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It was going to be rough. Them and Troy's beats was going to be rougher than the next man's beats. Not that they was going to be soft, but I had a little bit more room to move with Kamal and Remedy because it didn't have to be rough for them to want to rap to it. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? They might rap to some metal shit, and they might rap to some shit that's just different, just some different shit. Where Ian Ross shit had to be man rugged shit. They wanted their shit rough, and
Had to be murder. It had to
yeah,
be
it had to be
murder.
murder. Had to be fitting for terrorism flow. And
Right.
Troy just, he was a rough dude. He wanted rough shit too, or shit that just hit hard. You know what I'm saying? So it was usually some gangster shit. That's what
Now
he wanted.
let me ask you this, because in '92, I say that was like, to me, far as just the streets, and because of your production, far as Cru Thik, that was like our breakout year. Far as you came up with two, I would say three songs that was just hot on the streets. You know what those three songs was?
You gotta tell me. What's that?
I think it's the first Cru Thik anthem. My style's aggressive. The
Sounds
original
aggressive.
My Style's Aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Mad
Mm-hmm.
Rugged. Winner
Mm-hmm.
Take All. The second one was Troy, SNS.
Mm-hmm.
You remember
Struggling
that,
strive.
right?
Struggling
Struggle and
strive.
Strive. Give a
Right,
shout if
right.
you know what I'm talking about. And if you
Yeah.
don't, then brother, you lost. It's called Survival of the
Yeah.
Fittest. And like Farrakhan said, we ain't winning till all is winning.
Man,
That
you act like
joint
you
was
got a
hard.
copy of that shit.
Huh?
You act like you got a copy of that shit.
I just remember all that shit like it was yesterday. You know
Well,
what I'm
that's
saying?
crazy.
And it's crazy because I told when we did the interview with Troy, I had to remind him because he forgot,
Yeah.
because he was actually supposed to give me that beat.
Oh yeah.
A trade. Remember the Gimmick's Over? Remember the Gimmick's Over was originally my beat when I was
I think
solo.
I
This
remember
was
that.
before Remedy. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you still got the record on tape. But I have a whole song to the Gimmicks Over, what people in the world know as the Gimmicks Over, with Catch and Bloody Red.
Did we
That was
record
my
it?
beat at first.
Did we record it?
Yeah, we recorded that record. That's when I was solo on. It was just me. And Troy asked for that beat. And I said, okay, I'll give you this beat, but you got to give me Struggle and Strive. He said, okay. But then I looked at him crazy. I like, nigga, you a fool. And I just gave it to him. You know what I'm saying? Because I
uh,
love Struggle and Strive so more. I didn't think he was going to say yes, but he did say yes. But I was like, man, fuck that shit here. Just take it.
Struggling Stride with the shit with the horns, right? All the
Yeah.
horns. Yeah,
Boom,
yeah, yeah,
boom,
yeah,
boom, boom,
yeah,
boom, boom, boom,
yeah.
boom, boom, boom.
Man, that shit was
Hey,
hard.
give
I
a
remember. I
shout if
remember.
you know what I'm talking about. And if you
Yeah,
don't, then brother, you're long. Then the
yeah.
third one was the song that you did that made Mad Rugged come around to Zach. You know what that one was, right?
Butter versus the gutter.
No, that's Mad Rugged
That's
and
you and
Nixon.
y'all.
I'm talking about
So
Zach. Why did Mad Rugged, Ian Rod didn't like Zach? They thought he was corny, he was whack, he was kind of like a hippie-ish. What was the
yeah,
song that had them start to fuck with Zach?
man. I don't
DL,
know.
down low. I creep 7 days a week. Brothers don't know. I'm on the down low. You can't see me. I'm thick in the fall.
How the fucking beat go? I don't even remember that shit.
You
I don't
use the
remember that.
same beat as 93 till infinity.
No, no,
You use the
no.
same beat. Yeah, I might be wrong, but you use the same beat that was another song that was popping, that was out in that time, that was
Mm-hmm.
similar. It might not have been 93 to infinity, but I just remember you sampled that EPND. They can't see me. I'm thick in the fall. Brothers don't know. Creep. Guts. Remember when we made that joint with we was doing like the
Man,
little ad libs and the hooks and shit. But that
I need
beat
to
was
hear that
hard as
shit.
fuck. The down low
I need
for
to hear that
Zach.
shit.
You don't
I
remember?
need to.
Damn.
Hell no. And we did a lot of shit, but I don't remember that one.
Yeah,
I just
that's the
remember, and I only thought that you said I was only thinking I wasn't thinking because I don't think they ever really you know had a chance. They was never really around that like that. To not that just I know that they probably heard his shit
yeah.
because Remedy might have played it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And you might have played it, but as far as I was thinking more along the lines of because uh Butter versus the Gutter, that piano, that
No,
shit was kind of mellow. The beat
Now,
was
Butter
hard.
versus the Gutter was later. That was years later. I'm
It
talking
was
about
years later,
92.
but that's what I thought you meant by coming around because the shit that Zach wanted to do was always mellow. So that's what I thought you meant. But you talking about some other shit. I don't even I'm not even sure. I need to hear that somehow. I think I kind of remember it. I kind of remember it because I remember I only did like a few songs with Zach. And
Yeah,
it wasn't the hieroglyphic sample though. It wasn't that. But I remember doing that beat and like I did a couple of joints from Zach's that was bangers.
yeah.
Some of them we never recorded or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it was just some different shit.
That was like
And
an anthem that niggas in the streets was kind of fucking with hard and shit.
So
mhm.
let me ask y'all this: during the time of Next Man, Mad Rugged, Troy, and this buzz popping, what were some of the obstacles that you faced as far as industry wise? You know what I mean? How close did you come to getting a deal, or what I'm saying, dealing with some kind of label during this time? Were y'all in talks with anybody, or was it just the music y'all were making locally had the town jumping and things like that before
I mean,
Cru Thik would eventually go worldwide?
so at that time, this is everything is still based out of New York and LA. Atlanta is bubbling because they got the music conferences and shit. But you know what I'm saying? Niggas wasn't, we had started eventually going up to New York, but that's not yet. Uh man, we didn't
We just was
I don't
cultivating the sound. We was just
yeah,
cultivating
yeah, we were
the
just working
sound,
on music, you
terrorism
know what
flow,
I'm
Plex
saying? Yeah.
production. Do you remember how competitive we were with each other and just sharpen each other's swords
hmm
and how we used
hmm
to say, I'm a murder your beat. We were so competitive and
Yeah,
like
we
we
talked
go
we yeah, we
back in the day where you we would shit on each other like if you had to repeat your rhymes more than once. You like Plex was
yeah,
like, yo, the beat is murdering you.
yeah,
Like you suffocate.
yeah.
Look at you. You know what I'm saying? We used to just talk
See,
trash and shit to each other. So when we would want to
yeah,
go in there and want to do it and just kill it on one take, you know what I'm saying? Two takes at the top, at the most, you know what I'm saying? But we were
yeah.
cultivating the style. Do you remember how hard I remember? You know what I'm saying? I want to apologize to you because I remember, especially me and E, you know what I'm saying, how hard we used to be on you and just our style because our patterns were so offbeat, on beat, you know what I'm saying? And then we used to have like 200 bar raps. And you used to you was the first one that taught us about bars and song mode and all that type of shit. And we used to just put you through hell because we did not want to cut our fucking verses. That was like
Y'all
our
niggas,
baby. That's like trying to cut off, you know what I'm saying? My baby
y'all
on.
was y'all was crazy. Y'all was crazy. Cause yeah, I know that nigga. I mean, you was a little bit more easy to deal with, but you had your rounds was long, man. That nigga E might throw a fucking tantrum. He'd get mad as a bitch because I told him, man, stop right there. Stop right there. Man, nigga, nah, I'm about to go crazy right now. Nah, nigga, you've been rhyming for damn 18, 20 bars already. And nobody's counting, everybody just want to rap. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I mean, the raps were sounding good, but they was too fucking long. Or, you know, eh, we got to make songs. Like half the time, I don't even want to make a beat if I can't make a fucking song with it. That's that's
Right.
that's uh that's driving to me. Man, just making beats and shit. That shit just, that's kind of what got me out the mix because I'm not making no songs. I'm just making beats and shit. I don't give a fuck about making a beat and nobody ever hear the shit. I don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? I want to make a cohesive, effort to present to somebody. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Now, do you remember like when after we then cultivated in the foundation of Cru Thik, me, you, Mad Rugged, Ian Raw, Troy, then you had Echo. Then, like I told people, did you listen to the interview we did on just the documentary on Cru Thik?
I think I listened
Did
to
you
most
watch?
of it.
And I kind of let people know you had Echo in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? You had
Mm-hmm.
what a lot of people
Yeah.
don't remember. 9.5 is an original Cru Thik member, Antoine Richardson.
You
You know what I'm
remember
saying?
CD? You remember CD?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
CD.
CD. Yeah, CD
Yeah.
used to be shit with Troy.
Yeah.
He was around. He was around.
Yeah. And then also Five from
Yeah.
the legendary
Yeah.
Black Moon. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then that's when we started cultivating and grooming an element which would eventually become part of Cru Thik. But like I always stated, originally they were supposed to be a separate own entity.
Talking about
And
Nova.
that's Nova, niggas out of Virginia. You remember how we started
Mm.
just vibing with them and cultivating them. And just like I said, they wasn't supposed to never be a part of Cru Thik. We were just helping them along and showing them shit, you know what I'm saying? But
Mm.
Bloody Red and Dex was around every day. And then they
Mm-hmm.
started bringing niggas around. Remember, Lance and Cremation was a part of a group called Dyad.
I
Remember
remember that
that?
name. Yeah, I remember that name.
Dyad. And they
Mm.
was like supposed to be Mad Rugged 2.0. Ian Robb
Mm.
was like grooming them specifically. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
47th Street studio was, we was recording a lot of music at that time
Right.
that you're talking
Right.
about, Kamal, with Nova.
That's where we met you at.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this: was there any particular record during this era before we about to get into the next stage that you felt that when it was recorded, like, damn, man, this shit going, this it, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you recorded a lot of music, man, and y'all was jumping. I remember the buzz was so crazy, you know what I'm saying, with Mad Rugged, Troy, you know what I'm saying, the next man. And then Nova coming into the fold and myself. Were there any, particular records that, and I know Kamal mentioned a few that he thought, you know what I'm saying, but you know what I'm saying, that could have that you felt could have did it, you know what I'm saying?
Man, repeat that question. I'm sorry.
I said, do you feel, you know what I'm saying, any particular record that you recall out of the music that you was making, you know what I'm saying, at that time, from the next man, Mad Rugged, Troy, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, when it was done, you like, yo, this shit gonna go right here. You know what I'm saying?
Um, Really, we was just making music, and we would make a song, and I would just think the shit is this is innovative. Yeah, it's. I felt like it was gonna go somewhere, but it's like people got to hear it first,
Right.
and because we ain't got no deal, you know, it's just like when are people gonna hear it? So like, let's wait till they get a load of me type of attitude. But man, we was like that about every fucking thing.
Right.
Everything that we made, what I'm saying, sounded different. Because we had an East Coast sound, but it wasn't a New York sound. So that was different for the time because everything was basically, I mean, the South was coming up. You had, Goody Mob and shit like that coming. But we, our style it was still different from them.
Yeah.
Everything. So everything that we did, man, I don't
It's
care
from
if
the
it was,
bottom of the North and the top of the South,
yeah,
the
yeah,
Middle
yeah.
East.
Just had a
And
different feel to it.
yeah, I remember that era, man. I mean, it's like we didn't soon as some shit was recorded, it was like on to the next. And it's like, I don't know if that's what's missing, like as far as nowadays. I mean, niggas just stayed on their shit, even with each other. Like you never was going into the studio fucking around, you know what I'm saying? We all brothers and all that shit is cool, but nigga, I'm about to kill you. You know what I'm saying? When I go in this fucking studio, I think that's what kept everybody sharp. You know what I mean? So moving into this era where now you got Nova and, you know what I'm saying, myself, Mad Rugged, the next man, and Chuck gets drafted in '96, and they come to do this.
Hold on.
Go
Before
ahead.
we go to Chuck getting drafted, we gotta. It's a crucial era because in '95, it's a lot that we did in '95. That was like the pinnacle of Cru Thik. You know what I'm saying? Because '95, in the very beginning of '95, in January, you know what I'm saying? That's when we do the show up in DC, the infamous Ibex show, where we
Mm-hmm.
open up for Common organized confusion and the beating up the Ibex in DC, and we always got locked up. You know what I'm saying? Then also we went to the Jack the Rapper in Atlanta. We went to the Black College Weekend in Daytona Beach. You know what I'm saying? We was running around with the alcoholics and was around Wu-Tang Meth and Divine and Power. You know what I'm saying? Right next to Biggie when they was, you know what I'm saying? Jay Swift, who was living he was from East New York and Brooklyn. He took us around to a lot of labels, you know what I'm saying, at the time. Elektra, Atlantic, Big Beat, you know what I'm saying?
What was the feedback from those meetings?
Man, the only thing I remember is I can't remember what label we was at. Kamal, you probably remember. And the dude, they had just put out, Busta Rhymes had just put out his album. And the
This
guy
is
was like,
Atlantic.
man,
This
yeah,
was
he was like, man,
Justo. Justo was the
yeah,
head
he
of
was like,
marketing
man,
for Atlantic Records.
and he was just like, man, we looking for something that, will give us the same energy as that. And I'm like, I mean, shit, we're not Busta Rhymes.
The same.
We're not doing
But
that.
So 95, incredible year. And to be followed by a historic moment with Allen Iverson being drafted number 1 in the NBA draft in 1996. There came, a point where the music, stuck his head back out, you know what I'm saying? Of course, the draft was the main thing going on, Chuck in the league, the music still making noise. So during the process of Misunderstood, when they came to get us to do the project, Universal, and we started making this project. Now, you made a record, man, that would eventually cause a fucking uproar in, the National Basketball Association and the fucking world. You know what I'm saying? You produced this record, and the record is called 40 Bars. Now, what I wanted to ask you first was, who wrote that fucking record? Did Bubba Chuck, did Allen Iverson write that record? Because
he wrote his own. He wrote his own damn rhyme.
Okay, so let's get that clear. Chuck wrote that shit. All right. Now, the noise that this shit made. Now, how did that affect you, man? How were you feeling when this shit leaked out? Because it never got officially released. So I gotta call it a leak. What was going through your head? You know what I'm saying, at this time?
Well, radio stations had a copy. They were playing it on the radio. That wasn't a leak. Those were promotional copies that went out.
Okay.
So it was unofficially released.
Unofficial. Okay, that's a better term.
The white label. It was never for sale, but DJs and radio stations had a copy of it. Now I don't know how far it went because they pulled it back before they really got in a full-fledged promo. But I know they played
after the Rolling Stone interview.
Yeah, but they was playing it here, and they played it in Philly. I don't know if they played it in New York or not. Yeah,
that shit was everywhere, man.
Go in ahead, New York, they white labeled it to Virginia, DC, Philly, and New York.
Yeah. So I mean, it felt good to hear the shit on the radio. It felt like we was getting somewhere. You know what I'm saying? We was still like, got work to do, but it felt when I heard that shit on the radio, it just kind of felt like the hard work was paying off, and whatever we was gonna do was right around the corner. We just had to keep pushing. So that's how I felt when I heard the shit.
Now, did any other artists, that we might not know about, reach out to you after that record came out, as far as industry wise?
I mean, nobody really reached out. You know what I'm saying? I know that when I went to go mix the record down at Soundtrack, the Neptunes, Pharrell and them, they was in there. They was in another room, and I had to. Well, they was in the lobby, but they was recording or mixing in another room, and I went through the room, and I just heard somebody say, "What's up, Plex?" And I turned around, it's Pharrell, and I don't even remember meeting him before that. Now I had met Chad before. But I hadn't met Pharrell. But it was Pharrell that was talking to me.
How did your life change after, or did it? After that 40 bar shit came out?
I mean, it didn't really change. I had a little bit of bread, you know what I'm saying? It won't really change it for much, running around with Chuck was a change. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
that wasn't supposed to be the purpose. We're supposed to be working on music, but niggas get caught up in the matrix, and it is what it is.
Right.
But I can't say like I said, I got a little bit of bread to work on it. I got a little bit of bread after that from the label, and then I had to get some other bread after that on some other shit that I don't even want to talk about. But
So let me ask you.
That was old to me.
Let me ask you this. So being that it was never officially released for sale, so there's no residual income from that as far as publishing goes, none of that.
Nah, because it was never officially released.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they there was a commercial with 40 bars in it, but they stopped running it. You know what I'm saying? So because that's another story.
I remember that commercial too, because Ian Robb was in that commercial. That was a
it was like
Reebok commercial.
it was basically like the 40 bars video. It was like a video.
Yeah.
That was actually the first time that you ever seen Megan Good too. Most people don't know that. Megan Good was the female in the Bentley with Chuck riding down the street.
Yeah, I didn't know that. But,
yeah, me neither.
Yeah, this was before 21 Questions with 50 Cent. Yeah, Megan Good was in that commercial, that Reebok commercial with Chuck. That's when Chuck was like everybody. He was the doorman, and then he was on the court crossing himself over.
Yeah.
Then at the end, it was Ian Raw on stage with Chuck and the 40 bars, but the 40 bars beat was playing throughout the whole commercial. That shit was hard as fuck.
Yeah, that shit was hard as shit. So Life After 40 Bars, I mean, that shit comes out and goes crazy. They pull a record, shut the fucking project down because people think Chuck about to show up on the basketball court with a pistol now. You know what I'm saying? They waiting for him. They wait for him to drive to the lane and pull a goddamn 45 out and shoot somebody in the face.
Right after 40 Bars was released, and then they shut us down, that it was another major, crucial hit to the crew. You know what that was?
Yeah, when Rob died.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Now, when Rob, so how did that impact you? You know what I'm saying?
Nigga, I didn't even want to work on no music. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to do that shit, because this is the thing. Once it was decided that Chuck wasn't going to work on the album, and niggas was fussing, you know what I'm saying? And Chuck was like, look, y'all niggas go ahead and get it how y'all was getting it. Just go ahead. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna be able to fuck with it. And I'm like, cool. You know what I'm saying? I never had the nigga did what he could do. That's how I was on it. You know what I'm saying? Right now, you can't ask this nigga to put everything aside because we're trying to get on. We was trying to get on before him. So let's just get back to that. So I had a couple of people that the lawyer that you put me on, that lawyer, Greg Moore. The only thing I remember is Leo Cohen coming to my fucking house. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, when was this? I think I heard about this too, but go ahead.
This was before we worked on the album with Chuck. You know what I'm saying? But Chuck was involved somehow. But he came to the crib. He had just signed DMX. And I know Ian Robb was there. Come on, I don't think he was there.
No, I wasn't there.
Chuck might have been there, or it might have been Ani or Marlon. But we all in my crib, playing our shit. You know what I'm saying? But ain't nothing really come of that. You know what I'm saying? But
that's crazy though, man. That white boy be fucking on it. Whatever. Yeah. Like this nigga came to your crib, bro.
He came to my crib. He was telling us how DMX ran for him with his jaw wired shut. Somebody had broke his jaw or whatever. So he talking and we playing him shit and we talking and whatever. You know what I'm saying? So he left with them. You know what I'm saying? I don't know whatever came of that. But I never used to be in those meetings like that with them. They would come get me because I just be in my own. I'm working on beats and doing what I do. You know what I'm saying? These niggas is all hanging out with each other and shit. You know what I'm saying? I come out sometimes, but for real, I never would be around for those meetings and shit.
But look, I know it was one meeting you was at when it was bringing up Charles Suit. Goddamn it, you don't remember we took that nigga on a ride?
I remember riding around with him. You know what I'm
No,
saying? We
riding
took
around
Now,
my ass, nigga. That wasn't just no riding around. It
remember we
was
picked
it
him
was
up from
five
the airport.
it was five hundred
I remember.
thousand. It was five hundred
Yeah.
thousand missing. Oh, they couldn't find it or some shit they was telling us because this was when we was recording Chuck album, man.
Mm-hmm.
We was working, man, but word got back that it was a 5-piece out there, and he was involved. So I know me, you, Smoke God, and the Bruiser
Mm-hmm.
took that boy on the tour. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I don't know if that ever got cleared up. Somebody, I think he ended up
He
finding
said
that
the right
money.
thing because if he did say the right thing in that car ride with the Bruiser,
Well,
because
no,
he
I
was in the
know,
back seat with you and the Bruiser.
I know
I
what he
was
said. Yeah, we had his ass pinched in. I know what he said. I'm just saying after that, I think that they did ended up finding that money. But so look, bringing us back up to speed to the death of Rasan, and you kind of detaching from music because this is where I'm going. Like through all
Mm-hmm.
these years, bro, you was the heartbeat of, for lack of what I'm saying, for the city, man. You know what I'm saying? With Mad Rugged, the Next Man, Catch, Cru Thik as a whole, you know what I'm saying? And you got all these elite MCs, man. You know what I mean? And the movement that was created. So through Chuck getting drafted, then you make fucking 40 bars to top all that shit off. You do that. That
Mm-hmm.
shit is through the roof, you know what I'm saying? And they pull a plug on that. And, Rasan, what I mean, dies. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And this
And on
this
at that same time, um, my son was born a few months later too.
okay,
So that
yeah.
kind of changed things for me.
Right.
So Rod died, and then my son was born right after that. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, I got to have bread coming in. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I just started working. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I wasn't giving up on the music, but I was like, yo, I got to have some steady income. Coming, I can't, you know what I'm saying? Can't run around like I was when I didn't have somebody else to worry about. So
Yeah, man.
that was my mind state anyway.
I felt like, man, that was a big blow, man. Like, you know, cause you as being a sound, man, I felt that we were scrambling, man. Like, it would be some dope producers and, through the travels and all the shit with Bubba Chuck, we met a lot of people, but it was never the same after that, man. Like,
Mhm.
so
we had
so
built
really
that
it's like we
relationship.
lost two major people in Cru Thik. We lost Rod and we lost you.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Pretty
And not in
much.
this not in the same ways, but in the same ways as far as just
Dang.
having access, you know what I mean? Now, what I want to ask you is during this time period from then until now, like, do you get that itch, man? You know what I'm saying? And is if so,
I
like
guess
what artists or group or records make you be like, man, I'm going to put this fuck this. I'm going to put this machine out, nigga. These niggas got me fucked up, man. You know what I'm saying?
well, of course I listen to a lot of, Griselda type shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love
This
them
this
dudes.
this this Legends hasn't run that Nas had, or just Nas period. I fuck with Nas. Shit that he be doing. I like to hear like you mentioned point guard earlier. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I like to hear his shit. He got some shit. You know what I'm saying? And
Hold up. Let me
like a
ask you
sick
this. What
Mike.
do you think about Point Guard and the homie from Born Nats, DX, remaking 40 bars?
It was cool. It was cool. It was like took it as a little dedication or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I could respect it.
And they reached
You know
out
what I'm saying?
too. And they reached
Yeah, they
out.
reached they reached out. Yeah,
Yeah.
DX hollered at me. So
Yeah.
yeah, I do I fuck with both of them. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with the boy Nats, man. Anyway,
Definitely.
anybody local, I got an ear for them and respect and love for them.
Let me
So
ask
Yeah,
you
say.
this.
mm,
In 95, one of the young Novas, he was 16 at the time.
hmm
You and Evil Lens did a record, right?
yeah,
What's the name of that record?
arranged articles,
Now,
right?
almost 10 years later,
hmm
a Brooklyn nigga come out with a song very similar called Alphabetical Slaughter. What did you think when you heard Alphabetical Slaughter from Papoose
I
in
didn't think nothing.
comparison that you did this record with Evil Lens from Nova almost 10 years prior to?
I didn't think nothing because that wasn't the only. That's not the only one. Man. What me and Lance did was crazy. The beat was crazy. The rhyme was crazy. But rhyming from A to Z, somebody gonna do that shit.
Yeah.
So I never made that connection. Like you know, they Papoose heard Lance shit and try to do the same thing. I never made that kind of connection with it. I just, you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's just me. You know what I'm saying? And I know Jay Swift ain't ain't nobody doing that.
Well,
I don't think it's that myself.
yeah, I'm glad you said that now because see, us as MCs, we look at all that shit different, bro. Fuck all that, nigga. You heard that. And this was I would always think in my mind, right, right, until recently, and I'm gonna tell y'all
Hmm.
why because I understand where you coming from, Plex. Now, the Jay Swift connection is one thing,
Hmm.
but me and E went to K Slay, and that's what we did. Guns Are Us. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And that's Pat Man as well. Rest in peace. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
K.
Hmm.
So, but recently I heard Papoose, and I don't even think this interview, it got to be within the last couple of years, but he talked about this and he mentioned Jay Swift. He talks about
Hmm.
this record.
Hmm.
And I believed him, man. You know what I'm saying? Because he said that that was one of his like earlier beginning rhymes that he would always use. It wasn't completed, but he had like the first part of it already together, and he would use that with battling niggas and shut niggas the fuck down. So I meant to
Hmm.
tell you this shit, Smoke. Like I did hear the nigga talk about this, and he mentioned
Okay.
Jay Swift. So I got to give Pap a pass. You know what I'm saying? It's a hell of a fucking coincidence, man. But with Plex saying what he said, because you know you got K Solo, you got like you said,
Yeah.
people gonna make
Niggas
ABC rhymes. You know what I'm
or,
saying? But
or come up with different concepts. Like it's so many people rapping and making music. Some concepts are gonna be similar. Now I ain't gonna act like niggas don't be biting and shit like that, man.
right,
It's still especially now niggas just
right,
straight copy each other.
right.
But it was a little bit more. It won't like that back then. But yeah,
Well,
that's not a
well,
that. Go ahead.
how did you like the record Alphabetical Slaughter in comparison to
Man,
Arranged
I don't
Articles?
I don't even remember how it sounded. I don't remember how it sounded. I ain't gonna.
Well,
I'm not gonna lie
Oh,
to you.
and
And I don't remember because Big L did one too. I don't remember how his shit sound.
well, alphabetical slaughter and arranged articles were goddamn. They was very similar. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
it wasn't like Spellbound or fucking, from
yeah,
K
like K
Solo
Solo.
or
That's
you
why
know
I
what I'm
said
saying.
that.
Yeah,
It
no,
was different.
that's. I mean, that ain't being spellbound. He's spelling out the words of a
Right, right,
rhyme.
right.
But arranged articles and alphabet slaughter, they rhyme in an alphabetical order. So it's two different concepts to me. They're not. You can't compare them. You can compare them to each other, but I don't remember how alphabet slaughter is. I don't remember how it should sound to compare it. Just like I don't remember how Big
Okay,
L should
okay.
sound to compare it.
So listen, where are you at now, man? As far as are there any? Will we hear any music from Plex coming forward? You know what I'm saying at this point.
You may because shit's always itching, man. It's always fucking with me. It's always in my heart to do. It's in my heart. I still, I could do more than I've been doing, but you know, I can't make no promises. I could just say that, don't count me out. I can say
Okay.
that. I can say both at the same time. I ain't making no promises, but don't count me out. Because I feel it now. I feel it now than I've been feeling it more than I've been feeling it for years. I put it to you like that.
How you
Yeah.
feel about, what I'm saying, Rap being gone, Dre,
That's a, that's a, that's
iTunes
a
Dre?
Gravy did a lot, man. Atom Dre, he did a lot. Him and Yella.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
Yellow
saying? I
Ghetto.
seen Yella. I seen Yella the other day. Since Gravy passed, I didn't go to the funeral. I went to the wake. You know what I'm saying? By the time I made it to the wake, nobody was there. But he did a hell of a lot, man. I'm gonna say this. You know, some people tried to belittle iTunes Dre's role in Cru Thik. And there was even talk. I used to stay out of talks like this because, man, I did shit didn't make no sense to me. They would say, well, he's only in it for the money. we all trying to fucking make money. You know what I'm saying? His role was to help manage and finance Cru Thik. That's why he was there. Before Chuck. Before Chuck. So before Chuck was ever, added to the
Chuck,
equation, Gravy was doing a lot. He was financing a lot and he was supporting a lot. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I feel like, what he did wasn't respected. You know what I'm saying? Because they be like, well, he just in it, for the money. Like he in it to try to get something out of it. He's supposed to get something out of it, like all of us supposed to get something out of it. That was his role. He didn't rap. But he with us, he helping us do this. So I had a little issue with that, but you know what I'm saying? I would, let cats go back. Y'all go back and forth about that shit. I don't have no patience for that shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's me, when I drift off like that and y'all don't know what the fuck I mean, because I like, all right, man, I don't want to hear this shit. I don't want to
Yeah.
y'all settle it, however y'all settle it, you know what I'm saying? But he definitely played a heavy role when he was a foundation. I don't care what nobody say, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say this: it's him and Yella had their roles they played. Chuck had his role that he played too. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So I'm not belittling nobody's role because
no.
Chuck he enabled me to see a whole bunch of shit that I didn't see. I wouldn't have been able to see. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not you know, I don't talk to him like that. We from the same hood, but I'm older than him. It ain't like we was like, kicking it every day. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But I know that he a good dude. He got a good heart. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
and we
And I
give
feel like I feel like he did what he could for us. I honestly feel like if we would have stayed the course we was on, we would have got on eventually. And that don't
Yeah.
that's on us because
Yeah.
we
exactly.
decided we you know what I'm saying, we I feel like in a certain space we got lazy or we just didn't have that drive that we had. We had some hiccups and did some things. I feel like we did some things wrong or we could have did some things better. You know what I'm saying? I felt like our music could have been a little bit different too. We were so uh against the grain for that time. Sometimes I feel like that hurt us. You know what I'm saying? We're too much against the grain.
Let me
Too
ask you this.
Go ahead.
Do you think that, and I posed this question to Troy as well, do you think that we thought we was better than we actually were?
I don't think that we thought we was better than we actually were, but I think that we needed to bring it down a couple of notches. I think that we needed to bring it down, creativity wise. There were beats that I had that I didn't even get to fuck with. I didn't even get to, you know what I'm saying? They would have like, I know Kamal and Remedy would have rapped to him. You know what I'm saying? Um, but they were more along the lines of some shit that you might hear on the radio. I didn't make them for that reason. They just had that feel.
Right.
I never made music. This is gonna get played on the. I never made it with that in mind. But after I made it, I was like, yo, this shit right here is some, this a bop. This right here, people gonna feel this shit. But sometimes man, niggas was too rough for that. They too rough to want to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? And a couple of times they was with it, but usually it would take some weird shit like what's the joint? We
Right.
living.
Yeah.
That was that was like our version of some radio shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that shit was rough as hell. That's for the time being. For the time back then.
Right.
Now, now it's like wide open.
Right.
It ain't no need to make something that you feel like the masses is gonna
Right.
gonna gonna gonna, gonna go to. Just make fucking music. You know what I'm saying? And uh the exposure is kind of there. It might not be. You could put the shit on platforms. I think they push what they want to push. You got the bots shit going on. It's whatever. If I'm, you asked me would you hear more from me? You probably will, but I'm not in it like I'm trying to get on and just, I'm trying to take
Right.
over and have
Yeah.
my man. I don't give a fuck about that, man. If I make some shit just because I want whoever's gonna hear it, that's what I want to hear it. That's it. It ain't no. It ain't like, I'm trying to sell 1 million records or do 1 million streams. I got a job, man. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm all right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it is what it is.
We salute you, brother, and
The
thank y'all for
Newport News sound. You know what I'm saying? People got to recognize that Newport News sound. You took that shit. You know what I'm saying? You took that shit and made it so where everybody can have
I had
something to be creative. You know what I'm saying? A
I had
creative
I had
spark
I
in it.
had I had a hand in it, but that y'all rhyming. You know what I'm saying? I still hear that on niggas rhyming. When I hear niggas rhyming now out here, I hear y'all. You know what I'm saying? I hear the influence.
Oh, that's real, man. I
You know what I'm
appreciate that,
saying?
man.
But I just hear the influence. That's all I'm gonna say about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. History was made, man, and it still continues, man. So thank y'all for tapping in the Hard Rap Cafe, man. This has been another
Love you,
episode.
Plex.
Love y'all too, man. For
Love
sure.
you, bro. Salute.
All right. Y'all stay up, man.
You know it.